Hi, this is Ed Driscoll. Welcome to Silicon Graffiti. Last time around, we looked at President Obama ousting the CEO of General Motors, or as some have taken to calling it, Government Motors. On today's episode, we'll check out some of the footage we smuggled out of the super-secret Government Motors Skunk Works factory. Let's check out what's on the drawing board for the car of tomorrow. Given their druthers, most Americans would like to own a car that looks like this. On the other hand, many Americans drive something like this because they've got families and things that need hauling. But hey, let's get serious. As H.L. Mencken once said, democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard. And Government Motors are just the folks to give it to them.
It's in the way you dress, the way you boogie down, the way you sign your unemployment check. You're a man who likes to do things your own way. And on those special odd-numbered Saturdays, when driving is permitted, you want it in your car. It's that special feeling of a zero-emissions wind at your back and a road ahead meandering with possibilities. The kind of feeling you get behind the wheel of the Pelosi GTXI SSR1 Sport Edition from Congressional Motors. So take the bus to your local CM dealer today and find out why the Pelosi GTXI SSRT Sport Edition is the one car endorsed by President Barack Hussein Obama. One test drive will convince you that you'd choose it over the import brands, even if they were still legal.
Of course, Iowa Hawk's video is satire, but as Malcolm Muggeridge once observed, there's absolutely no way a satirist can improve upon real life for its pure absurdity. Hence, the Puma.
It was back in late 2001 when something called the Segway Human Transporter was first introduced, and the two-wheeled battery-powered scooter quickly created a sensation. Well, now General Motors and Segway have joined forces to develop a new kind of vehicle that's designed for urban travel, and it's making its debut right here on the Today Show. Larry Burns is Vice President of Research and Development at General Motors. Larry, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Matt.
So let's take a look. It's a Segway for two.
Yeah, Segway for two. Really, what we're doing is reinventing the automobile, how we move around in cities and interact in cities.
And with General Motors on the verge of bankruptcy and its CEO recently yanked, where do they turn? To co-designing a vehicle that's essentially Captain Pike's wheelchair writ large. General Motors' co-involvement in the Puma begs two questions. First, is GM on crack? And the second, more serious question, is there really a consumer preference for smaller vehicles, let alone something micro-sized like the Puma? Apparently not. As Edwin J. Fulner, Ph.D., the president of the Heritage Foundation, recently noted, quote, Edmunds.com reports that in 2008, sales of fuel-efficient hybrids dropped 10.3%. Small cars are languishing on dealer lots, the Wall Street Journal notes. That's astounding, since throughout 2008, the price of gasoline reached levels most Americans had never dreamed it could. Yet as soon as gas prices tumbled, so did hybrid sales. Meanwhile, in November, GM had workers at its auto plant in Texas, the only one where its big SUVs are made, working overtime to produce the vehicles that people were actually buying. Half the cars sold in the U.S. in December were SUVs. Consumers are fickle. They haven't wanted enough of the cars GM has made in recent years, so the company's market share has eroded. There's no reason to expect Americans will be eager to buy the cars a government committee orders it to build. Quite the contrary, in fact. One of GM's problems has been that it can't change its product line as quickly as its competitors can. Honda, for example, runs a plant that can switch from making compacts to crossover SUVs in an afternoon. It takes GM and Ford months to switch over a line, and it costs hundreds of millions of dollars. If GM's problem today is that it's inefficient, wait until layers of federal bureaucracy are added to the company's management structure. The great historian Robert Conquest has three laws of politics. Number 3 posits that, quote, the simplest way to explain the behavior of any bureaucratic organization is to assume that it's controlled by a cabal of its enemies. And General Motors, now essentially Government Motors, is the very definition of Conquest law. which could very well be the law of the road for all of us in the next few years. For Silicon Graffiti, I'm Ed Driscoll. Happy motoring!